Good morning. This is Father Fish. A good friend of mine, Kaler's Aquatics, made an interesting comment yesterday. At least I thought it was interesting. He said, Father Fish is in the wind. So I went back, being whatever I am. What am I? I'm a boomer, I guess. I'm actually a pre-boomer. I was born in 1940. Went to Google and looked up In the Wind. Watched the Phil Collins concert. And got a sense of what he was referring to. Of course, at present, the algorithm for YouTube is featuring some Father Fish videos, and they're doing, for my part, pretty well. And it put me in mind of what I'm really all about and what I'm trying to achieve with these videos. I have a little shop here in Venice, Florida. It's kind of a marginal operation. It's really a hobby shop. I do it for my own enjoyment and pleasure. Pump everything right back into it. Have a good variety of fish usually, and plants. And I try to keep my tanks in the way I would keep them at home. I did have a fish room. I've had a number of fish rooms. Most recently, I was living in a double wide here in Nokomis, Florida. And much to the chagrin of those who ran the park and many of its residents, I maintained a flourishing 100-tank fish room on my carport, which I had partially closed in. And of course I had guests, routinely. I finally left there, got this shop going, and have found that the greatest impact for the shop, and I think the greatest impact that I would like to have with these videos, is to help people who are brand new to the hobby make a good, strong start. Because the opposite is what is happening. I fault a lot of different characters for this. The big box stores are chief among them because they really have no protocol for helping people start a fish tank. They just sort of throw together whatever sells and looks pretty. And that's what becomes the first tank. Well, within a week, 2 at the most, everything's dead, and the customer is back in the store, upset, maybe irate, confused, and all they do is give them some more fish to kill. So they go home, they put them in the tank, they die again, and within a month that fish tank is sitting on the curb or is in a yard sale, a garage sale. Well, I really want to help people avoid that catastrophe, because I know why they got the tank in the first place. They want a little slice of nature. Some living creatures living happily and healthfully in a little environment in their home. There's so much joy and pleasure, so much inspiration in having a healthy fish tank like the one behind me. Let me talk about this tank a little bit. I've featured it on other videos. The tank has been set up for in excess of 10 years. It's never been changed, never done a water change in it. I think maybe I brought it down halfway once about 5 years ago. Don't even remember why. Filled it back up again. I keep it pretty closely sealed off with glass lids and the like, so it doesn't get much evaporation. You can see it's down less than ½ an inch, and that's in a matter of months. So it needs a little bit of water, not much. A few other things have happened to this tank. If you look on the bottom, the entire bottom is covered with a dark green algae mat that all of these plants are growing through. Now what that algae mat is doing is absorbing a lot of waste that's deposited here in the bottom. Occasionally I'll see little tufts of it pop up, like in the back here. I see one right now. And what I'll try to do is get in there and do it sitting down and just take it out. And the reason I do that is because I don't want the algae filling up the water column. If you look carefully at the top, you'll see a little more algae. There's duckweed on the top as well. The water is slightly turbid. It's just a little bit cloudy. You see what I got on my hand. It's full of duckweed since I stuck my hand in there. I'll go back and put it in the goldfish tank. They love to eat duckweed. The tank, I see the, oh, that's why it's a little cloudy. The air lines have quit working. The pump's probably disconnected or turned off or something. I'll have to plug it back in. It's a very healthy tank. It's a kind of a remarkable tank, but it's not a tank for the pristine. It's not a tank that a perfectionist would appreciate. It's a little gunky. It's slightly cloudy. The fish all look perfectly healthy, so it's not affecting them. But it's not the sort of thing that you would necessarily show off as proof of your expertise in maintaining fish, although I show this off as proof of my expertise at maintaining fish and plants. So it's a matter of what you're looking for. If what you're looking for is to keep fish alive, keep them healthy, keep plants growing, then and you don't know how to do it, and you're a beginner or early enough on that you've failed a few times and want not to fail again, then let me recommend to you Father Fish's Natural Aquarium. I've got loads of videos more than 150, about this very topic, a natural aquarium. I also call it a dirted tank because I start out setting the tank up by putting soil in it. In other words, I make it dirty before it has a chance to get dirty. I give it the kind of organic foundation that it needs to keep from becoming foul. Put a little dirt in, cap that dirt with sand so the dirt cannot escape up into the water column. Fill it up without disturbing it. Never clean it. Never stir it up. Leave it absolutely alone. That is the bottom, the substrate. Do not mess with it. Got that, kids? Leave it alone. Because if you mess with it, you kill everything. You mess the tank up and you destroy the very activity that you want to be occurring. What you want is for the tank to break down the waste that is produced. Don't keep trying to take it out. Let it break down. It'll feed the plants. This tank has never had waste removed from it, with the possible exception of the sponge filters taken out once a year or so, wrung out and put back in. I also use it as a mother tank because it grows plants so prolifically. I pull them out when they get real thick. That was fairly recently I did so. And use them in other tanks. Or people want to buy them, so I sell them. I do sell out of this tank. Some things I won't pull out, like this guy. I'm not going to pull him out. Can you see it? There we go. Gorgeous plant. It's a lily that has not flowered, but has these magnificent, delicate leaves. And it's been growing like that, golly, for 3 or 4 years. Has not outgrown the tank. Let's see, let's move around a little, give you another view. There we go. So, is Father Fish in the wind? I hope so. And I hope that wind blows into the ears and eyes of those who are seeking to set up a tank for the first time. Because I've got the secret. It's a guaranteed foolproof system that will not fail. All you do is follow some very simple directions. And I guarantee you a bulletproof tank that will keep your fish healthy, happy, and alive and breeding for years to come. So, this is not an opus so much as it's a challenge to the newbie. Try it. You will be in love. Bye for now. Father Fish, wishing you a wonderfully fishy day. Well, that was kind of a short little video. I want to add to it a bit and show you a few of the other tanks that are here in the front of the store. This one is a fish that had pupfish in it for about a year. It's a 40-gallon breeder. It's been set up this way about a year and a half. And all of these plants have volunteered. I started with 1 or 2, and they've just kind of jumped up. Now the fish has about, the tank has about 50 Elisoma evergladi and okefenokee in it. They're a very tiny pygmy sunfish that's really hard to see, and we may not see one. Tell you what, let me put a light on it and see if that'll help. Okay, I can see one right underneath that little brown leaf. Or behind it, just behind it. He's about ½ an inch long, a little more. It's a subdominant male. The dominant male is under this rock, and I don't see him right now. Now those are two tiny little Formosa live bearer. They call them a lesser killie. They're not a killie, they're a live bearer. They're native to Florida, as is this guy. Where'd he go? He darted away. Those are just a few Formosa. I don't have any other fish in here except the Formosa and these evergladi. The Formosa are more active. I'll probably put a few more in to create a little more activity, because the pygmy sunfish really doesn't move. It sits perfectly still, moves to get food or to breed or to escape predation. They live in water that is nowhere near as deep as this tank. It's ½ an inch to an inch deep. Right up on the shoreline in mulm or plants. I'm trying to find another one. They are pretty secretive little guys. There go the Formosa swimming by. Well, you saw one. If you see one, you're lucky. Anyway, this tank is a species tank. I use it that way. I bred pupfish in it last year. I want to breed these guys in it this year. I think they will. I probably will have to pull the Formosa out because they'll be after the babies. The babies, as you can imagine, are microscopic. They are extremely tiny little fish, and they eat infusoria, so I'm building that up as well, trying to get a rich infusoria culture in here that will allow me not only to feed the babies, but their parents, because they eat tiny little stuff as well. Okay, so I've got 2 more tanks I want to show you, so let's move on. Now this is a 55-gallon tank with silver scats in it, fairly large ones. They're 7 to 8 inches. Dramatic fish. They've been here probably 6 months in this tank. It's a deep sand bed. It has these wonderful jungle val growing in it that just canopy over and really fill the tank. Nice piece of driftwood with some plants growing on it. And that's about it. There's not a lot in this tank. I really wanted to be able to feature the fish. For light, I have something that fell on the floor. Goodness sakes. Oh dear. I don't mess with it much. There. Didn't break. Amazing. Well, the glass cracked. I've got a blue and a white bulb in here. Just 2 tubes. 40 40 watt fluorescents. T5s. Won't do that again. So there's that one. Let's come down past the first tank we looked at in this guy. Now this is the tank that's really hard to look into. I'm going to get another light for it. Hold up a second. Okay, that helps a bit. This is kind of a gloomy tank. It's a real dark tank. It's fairly deep. It has about 50 Elosoma in it, and I'm sure we won't see any of them. There's a little algae in the bottom. Gorgeous crypts. Beautiful cryptocorenes. A few little chain swords coming up. A little bit of baby tears. And the tank has been set up for probably a year and a half. Not a long time. I didn't get it long ago. But it's a tank that gets very, 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 very little maintenance. Like zero. We add water when it evaporates down, but we try to keep it covered. There's lights on it that stay on permanently. Those are the permanent lights. This is the one I'm using to try to see into it a little bit. Again, a really, really healthy tank that's a genuine slice of nature. Now, I could go in and clean out the algae, and I do occasionally do that, but it's not creating a problem. It's certainly not hurting the cryptocorenes. They are stunningly pretty plants. And it doesn't seem to be slowing down the chain sword. I'm hoping that'll pick up more. Let's see. Ain't likely we're going to see anybody in here. So this is a tank that is really a kind of an advanced hobbyist tank. It's not something that it's something you would find in the fish room and not in a living room, particularly. Although I've got it in my living room, right here up front. But I use it for the advanced hobbyists who come in, so they can get a sense of how to do a tank for rare and unusual fish. Really a species tank. And I could have any number of species in here. I choose these because I just found them recently after years of searching and want to be able to get them breeding. They will eventually move outside to some vats for the summer. I'll be doing that pretty quickly. So there you have it. There's the adjunct to the father fish in the wind. These are the kinds of things I'm trying to do, trying to teach people to do. Because it's simple. You can make it a lot prettier than mine. I don't have a lot of artistic ability, but I do know how to keep fish alive, keep them healthy and keep them happy. So there you have it. Let me give you an inside view of the front of our store as we sign off. This is Father Fish, thanking you for stopping by and signing off until next time. Bye for now.